All right, we're jamming out a little bit to the original, I believe, the original Survivor Series theme that came out in 1989. But we're going to talk a little about this on Let Freedom Ring here. We're doing a little preview show, kind of going into Survivor Series this Saturday. My guest, we have the creator of Nerds of Wrestling out of Connecticut, Justin Del Rio. Justin, welcome to the show.
Dan, what is up? Thank you for having me. I'm a long time no talk, man.
I know it's been a while, but we're going to get to see each other on Saturday, so
I
super
can't
excited.
wait.
Super excited. We also got KPG Kendall representing the four families here. Kendall, how you doing? Coming out of the state of Texas, how you doing, Kendall?
Doing well. Great to be here, my mentor, my OG, my legend. Dan the man. Great to be here with a legend like you.
Well, pleasure to have you both. This is going to be an exciting show here. Again, we're just doing a little live stream talking about Survivor Series. Always, it's a tradition. This is the first time I think Survivor Series is actually after Thanksgiving. Back in the day, it used to always be the Wednesday, the Thanksgiving Eve, which was the Thanksgiving Eve tradition, which was super cool. And then at one point, I think they just weren't getting enough viewership, or it might have been tough on the wrestlers, but they decided to move it to the Sunday before Thanksgiving at one point. But there was a time it was even earlier than that. So, to my knowledge, if I'm wrong, someone can say in the comments. I think this is the first time it's going to actually be after the holiday.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about because when I saw the schedule for the WWE's pay per view and Survivor Series after Thanksgiving, I'm like, oh, that's different. That's pretty cool though, I guess.
Yeah, and I could be wrong. This might be the first time it's on a Saturday, and I'm not positive on
It
that. I think it's
it
even.
probably is. I mean, with all these pay per views on the Saturday, there's the first time for everything.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is like I hate to admit it, they have to share the schedule now with AEW a little bit because I'm sure they're running in. They're not going to want to run on the same days.
No,
So
absolutely not.
so I want to get into this. I want to know first. And we'll go to Kendall first because Kendall, how did you become a fan of this pay per view? We know you're a wrestling fan. We know your origin of being a wrestling fan. How did you become a fan of Survivor Series? What was the first one maybe you saw?
The first one that made me really a fan was, I think it was either '04 or '05. It was SmackDown versus Raw, and they were going to each other's shows. They had guys like Batista, Kane the Big Show. Lastly, they were going back and forth for the past couple of weeks, and that Survivor Series was a banger. It ended up being Randy Orton ended up being the sole survivor, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when Undertaker came out and the casket, and that's
Mm,
when the whole setup between him and Undertaker got set up.
That was a good one too, and I think the
Just
Boogeyman
before,
like had a
just
run in with
before,
Eric
yeah.
Bischoff, right? In that same pay per view.
Did he?
Yeah, it's
Pretty
either
sure, I'm pretty sure it was.
yeah. What about you, Justin? How did you become a fan, and what was maybe the first one that you recall seeing?
Oh man, so it's funny because I think the first one I recall seeing for the first time was probably it's funny on the DX DVD that came out in 2006, the new and improved DX DVD, where they just had like the best of everything throughout the whole year of '06. And one of the matches on that DVD was DX was in Survivor Series and they wrestled. I forgot who they wrestled. I think they wrestled like Johnny Nitro, Balls Mahoney, not Balls Mahoney. Who was it? It was
It could
some
have been someone from ECW, I'm sure, at the
It
time.
was. I know it was a Balls Mahoney. I think it was Kelly's boyfriend in ECW,
Mike Knox.
Mike Knox. Yeah, and then there's a spot in the match where Shawn Michaels, slid out under the ring, and held on to Melina, pretending he was uh Johnny Nitro, and they both scared each other. So I think that was Survivor Series. So yeah, that was a good one. That's kind of like my first introduction to Survivor Series.
Awesome. My first was 1991. Obviously, they had some. I think that's the night. I was all hyped for this. I was in first grade. We've talked about this on many different shows. I think the main event was the Boss Man and LOD versus. It turned into people had injuries. I think it was like the natural disasters or the Mountie or somebody, but whatever. The main event though that was in the mid card was when Hogan lost to the Undertaker. And yeah, as a little 6-year-old boy, I cried my eyes out because I didn't think Hulk Hogan could ever lose. That was a really tough experience for me, and I hated the Undertaker. He also scared the shit out of me at that time. Um, he actually was pretty scary to little kids, So
Yeah, no,
um,
I bet he was. To someone who started watching wrestling at 6, Undertaker, like, oh, this guy's creepy.
It's weird. I was just checking my phone to just make sure, like, I was getting this all out there. I have been reported for something that I posted in 2020. Gotta love community standards on Facebook. Very
Look at
interesting.
that. Look at that.
Um,
We're talking about Survivor Series. I don't know if you're gonna talk about it um later in the show. My apology if I messed up your schedule. I just want to throw this out there. Uh Today's the day in 2014 where Sting made his WWE debut at Survivor Series.
no, no, I love that because we're gonna talk about some of our favorite moments.
Ooh,
So
I'm ready.
that was definitely something very unexpected. Where Sting's at this point when I'm already in my I think I'm already 30 at that point. And so I go back with Sting for a very long time.
Right.
Never thought that would actually happen. I really, really wish he had done it a little earlier. Um,
It was the perfect time. Honestly, you couldn't have picked a better time at that Survivor Series. Like 2014. Well, obviously, like you said, we'll talk about our favorite moments soon. But I want to save my energy for that in a minute.
yeah, it's good. It's a good topic to talk about. Now I
Oh,
want to say
absolutely.
this. Um, I want to know this. What you guys think, Kendall? What do you think? What makes this pay per view for you different than every other pay per view that? I'm sorry. What do they call them now? Premium live events.
Premium live events.
What makes Kendall this different for you than any other pay per view?
Honestly, it's not brand warfare, to be honest. Besides 2019 where they had Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and 2017 where I think they had the two champions. I think it was AJ and KO, and they had their team. I never liked brand warfare. I always thought that Survivor Series should be storyline based, and they should have kept bragging rights if they wanted to do like a brand on brand. They should have had bragging rights. Then they should have had Survivor Series. Another reason why I think it's different is because war games. I'm on the younger side, so I've never really seen WCW war games. I think I've seen one where it was like NWO versus WCW, but war games, especially over the past couple of years, it's been bangers. So this whole storyline leading up to it, like I told you guys in the chat, I'm excited for 5-on-5. But not just you guys, but I've seen a lot of people on social media complain, why isn't it 4-on-4? It would have been better at 4-on-4. It would have been better 3-on-3-on-3. And I'm like, y'all are. Can I say the B word real quick?
Or you could like bleep it as you say it. We're a family friendly show.
Y'all are y'all complain too much. Like y'all, the rest of the fans don't know what the f y'all want. Like y'all were so excited for having 5-on-5. Now the week of it's like, oh, they should have had 4-on-4. They should have had 3-on-3-on-3. They should have had the Judgment Day in it. Like, why now? Like the week of or the week before, it's it's stupid or it's wrong. But other than that, I like the war games. I like 5-on-5. I like 5-on-5. I like it being storyline based. That's what makes it different for me.
Yeah, and this one's gonna be more different than any Survivor Series we've seen. And yeah, there's a lot of reasons that I avoid Twitter because everything is there's so many hot takes on there, and not just wrestling. I mean, it's everything. And I've talked about this. I thought I understand you have to have the bloodline in the main event. It just seems like they spent so much time on Judgment Day and what do they call them? So the real or the original Bullet Club or whatever they want to. They spend so much time on that. So I'd have to imagine that Finn Balor AJ Styles match is going to get everybody involved somehow. Um, but yeah, no, wrestling fans complain. It's like anything else. It's like sports fans. It's like politics. It's whatever you're into. You're gonna complain. Justin, what makes this pay per view different from you for you?
War games. I mean, um, put aside the fact that I'm gonna be there, my first ever Survivor Series in Boston. Like I'm beyond excited to see this in person. Uh, War games, man. I mean, like Kendall said that obviously it's something different. It's something like unique, something fresh that we're not typically used to seeing in Survivor Series. So I'm excited for the war games. I mean, all you got those two words, war games. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think like historically for me, what's always made this pay per view different is the time of year that it falls.
Yeah.
I know, again, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. It's now after Thanksgiving, but it was always, when I was growing up, it was always the Thanksgiving tradition. And I know then they started to mess around with the dates, obviously. I think there's some Survivor Series. Like when you talk about the Montreal screw job, that was much earlier in the month of November than getting close to Thanksgiving. So for me, it is the start of the holiday season is how I've always looked at Survivor Series. So that's something special. And I hated when they moved away from the traditional. I'm loving what they're doing with War Games. Don't get me wrong. But there were years where the traditional Survivor Series matches did not happen. There was many years that did not happen, or they'd only have one. Back in the beginning of Survivor Series, that was pretty much what the pay per view was. And I get it; things have to evolve, but that's always been something I've really enjoyed about it. I do want to say, anybody watching, if you do want to comment, please do it on Feel free to join us. Just go to the Let Freedom Ring page. I put the link on my page. Just click on that, comment there, and we'll be able to see your comments, and we'll give you a shout out on screen too. So. Um, Now, Justin, you just said this. Now, I've been to one Survivor Series. I want to say I went in 2013
In Boston.
in Boston. I think it's the last time it was there. My favorite Survivor Series, which we'll get into, was also in Boston, but I was not there. Uh, but how are you feeling going into this weekend? Like you've been to a lot of wrestling shows. I think you've been. Have you been to Mania, or is that still on your bucket
I
list?
never been to Mania. Never been to
Okay,
Mania.
but you've been to quite a few things. Um,
This year, but it's obviously I'll talk about it after. But I'm sorry, what were you saying?
just how hyped are you for this? Like, is this what are you feeling going into Boston? Like you said, this is gonna be your first time at I always call it TD or I always call it the Fleet Center. I'm dating myself here, but you're going to the TD Garden, your first time there. How you feeling going into this?
I'm it's weird because I'm like really anxious. I'm really just like kind of like obviously we got to get through Thanksgiving. I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do anything on Friday. I think I'm just gonna chill Friday. Uh, then once Saturday hits, I'm gonna go. Oh, it's coming! It's coming! I'm so excited! Can't wait. I'm just very anxious. I just want to get in the car, obviously with Dylan and Johnny, and just go to Boston and just get there, man, and just meet you finally. Just have a good time. Just it's gonna be fun, man.
Now is this Dylan's been to Celtics games and stuff. Is this Johnny's first time going to Boston too?
I don't I don't I can't speak for him if he's ever been
Yeah.
to Boston, but I don't think he's ever been to the TD Garden. I could be wrong. I mean, Johnny's been to a lot of cool events through the past years, so I think this might be his first time at the TD Garden. So again, I don't want to speak for him. So
Yeah,
maybe
no, no. It's gonna be awesome. I was saying to you guys, like, maybe you could look into the T. You can park there, but I will say parking does get, a little pricey near the garden, but it is possible if you
I
guys
know
do
you want.
drive in.
I know Dylan's picking us up at like 1. So we're
Okay.
probably from my Johnny's meeting me here. So from like my house to Boston is like 2 hours
Oh, okay.
change. So probably
I
like
always
like
you
three
guys
fifteen.
like you guys are deep into Connecticut, and I forget that. Like I'm 40 minutes away,
Yeah.
45 minutes
So
away. You
yeah, I
know.
mean I'm in Connecticut, so it's like New York, Boston. It's like unfortunately it's like 2 hours, give or
Yep.
take. You know.
Yep. Nope. I understand. Like you gotta.
Yeah.
It's quite the drive.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm sure Dylan will be okay.
Yeah, no, I want to get into this. Very
Yeah.
excited. Like I said, we're finally going to meet in person. I think we've been friends for now 3 or 4 years,
Yeah, we've been friends for a
through
long time.
through the nerds of wrestling and everything like that. So it's really exciting. Um, want to get into this though. I'll let Kendall go first here. What are your favorite memories, or what are things that have stuck out from the Survivor Series? Um, that are just memories of yours, and I want to know after that. Give me your all-time favorite Survivor Series.
So the memories, like I said, is 29. Oh, that's gonna go with my first sponsors, but also like 2019 when they recreated the tank and they drove in there. Another great moment was 2014 when like he said, Sting debuted it, but that whole lead up to 2014 was great. Another one was like I said earlier, 2004 or five. Um, when that whole lead up to it. Another great one was I think '06 is when it was another Survivor Series. I think it was Evolution. I think Evolution was broken up by then or whatever. It was Evolution versus Randy, Maven, and somebody else, and the winning team all became like
Oh,
general
oh four.
manager.
Yep. Oh four. Yep.
Yeah, and they were trying to take the title. Like every week, it was like I think Maven was first, and he had like a world. They just gave each other like world title shots, but Triple H back then was like Super Cena. Like you weren't taking the title off of him unless you were like the guy. Um,
No, I think Benoit was the only one, and then they put in Orton and immediately took it off for, and then went back to Triple H.
yeah, I remember that turn. He was like, "Yeah, you're the man. You're the man. You're the man. Drop him." I was like, "What the f?" But my first Survivor series is everyone I just mentioned. 14. This year has the potential to be on my bucket list, or not, yeah, my list. So I gotta see how it works out. Um, yeah, '05 I think would be my favorite one, and 2019.
All right, awesome, awesome. What about you, Justin? What are some of your favorite moments? What are your favorite memories? All these years watching.
I it was in 2019, right? And I was in Rhode Island for Comic Con, and I was scrolling through my phone, because I wasn't able to watch SmackDown because again I was at Comic Con, and I saw that NXT invaded SmackDown, and I was like,
Oh,
huh.
that was cool. That
I was
was
like,
really cool.
okay, cause this was in November, so this is like perfect month for leading up to Survivor Series. And I don't even think that was supposed to happen. The Saudi show just happened, so a lot of the wrestlers got a lot of the wrestlers.
Oh, I
A lot,
forgot.
yeah, see, a lot of the wrestlers
Yeah,
weren't able to make it back because their flight whatever happened. So
the Saudi government wasn't letting them leave.
which is crazy. So
Yeah,
they're like, all right, well, obviously they weren't worried. They'll go home soon. But so
yeah.
they're like NXT, they just had to go invade SmackDown, and they gave us some dream matches on NXT. SmackDown. I think Daniel Bryan wrestled Adam Cole for
Yeah,
them
he
in
did.
the main event. Like what? Like obviously they're both in the same company now, but going back to WWE in 2019, like when the fuck are
Dream.
we
It was
ever gonna?
dream. It was a dream come
Sorry,
true.
excuse my language. When
Yeah,
the
yeah.
heck are we ever gonna see that again? Uh, but that obviously that led up to Survivor Series, and 2019 Survivor Series was on a whole nother level. I mean, you had NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. If I'm not mistaken, you had Brock Lesnar going against Rey Mysterio. Dominic and Ray both hit.
That's when we learned Dominic could move in the ring.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where he hit. That's where they both hit Brock Lesnar with a 619, and I popped hard for that. Go back 4 or 5 years, 2014, one of the, in my opinion, other than 2019, 2014 had the absolute best story going into Survivor Series. We had to wait for the main event, and I feel like that was the most excited I was for a main event and a pay per view, because you had so much leading up to it. Literally like 3 4 months of just the authority just effing over everybody. Like f this, f them. Like you don't want to ride with us. Like whatever. Like this and that. And then you had Team Cena versus Team Authority on Survivor Series in 2014, and you had some great wrestling. One thing that irritated me though was when Big Show turned heel. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
hundredth time.
what
Yeah,
are you doing?
yeah.
But other than that, man, great, great wrestling. And you had Dolph Ziggler be the lone survivor. Him and Seth Rollins put on a great wrestling match. Like they just wrestled for 20 30 straight minutes, and they just put on like a flat out 5-star match. Yeah, it wasn't like 20 30 minutes, but it was like a good 3 6 6 minute match they just put on for us. Amazing. And then of course, like I said earlier, you had Sting debut and at the end of the show, and you could not have ended that pay per view off on a more strong.
The fact that they didn't push Dolph Ziggler like right after that was a darn shame.
You know,
Like honestly,
everyone thought he was gonna get the push of a lifetime. Sorry to cut you off, Kendall, but I thought he was gonna get the push of a lifetime. I was like,
This
yo,
is
this dude's gonna
about
get pushed.
this is about a year and a half later after he was world champion. I want to
Yeah,
say. Yeah.
right. Guys, we were like kind of sick. Like, damn, like you just screwed him over. Like you just gave him. And unfortunately, I read articles on how that cash in was never gonna lead into anything. It was just like a raw after Mania moment for the fans. That was it. Which, okay, fine, that's business, but like people love Dolph Ziggler. People back 10 years ago, people were like loving Ziggler. Unfortunately, now people go back and reminisce it, and we're like, dang, what could have been? It could have been
yeah,
so much
when they
better.
go home Raw, like I think they had the contract signing, and the only people on Team Cena was him and Big Show, and like I remember like Rowan coming out there, and him and Luke R.I.P. was facing off.
Oh,
Then Dolph came out there. Then like the last they was like, you need one more member. Then like Cesaro came out there and he was like, yeah, I'm Team Cena. And he was like, no, screw you. I'm Team Authority. Then that's when their other partner came out there, who was like the fifth member of Team Cena. I forgot. But
Wasn't it Ziggler?
if you could refresh my memory.
it
Yeah, I think
was
I said Ziggler. It was Ziggler, Cena, Big Show, Rowan, and who else was
Now
it?
Harper was on Authority.
was Rowan. Yeah, you said Rowan.
So it was John Cena, Rowan, Big Show, Ziggler, and hold on, I'm gonna look right now because I know
I
this.
know it's like 8 years. You know what's funny? I can remember stuff like that happened 20 years ago, and can't remember something that happened like 8 years ago.
Right, which is crazy. Ryback.
Uh, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
right back.
We're all kind of
Wow.
very forgotten on him.
Oh well.
No, that's a fantastic example of like a lot of the great stuff that's happened.
But I mean,
Um,
like like just like I said, the whole pay per view aside, great show, but you could not have had a better. When we talk about Survivor Series, that's what we want. Raw and SmackDown, yeah, if you're gonna have Raw and SmackDown, like Kendall said, have like a bragging rights show or something. If you're gonna have Survivor Series, have something meaningful. That tag team match again, Team Cena versus Authority. The whole storyline was amazing. And I might be biased when I say this, but like I loved Authority Seth Rollins. Loved him.
oh
He
yeah,
was my absolute favorite. Yeah, he was a big, wimp, lack of
which is
better
what he
terms,
needs to be
which is what he
as the
needed to
heel
be as a
champion.
heel. But he was
Yeah,
so good. Obviously, he's great now, but 2014, 2015, Seth Rollins was on another level. Like if like for wrestling fans who are getting into wrestling now, and like for people like, oh, Seth Rollins is amazing, this is great, man. I'll tell them, go back and watch him back in like 2014, 2015. Go back and watch it on the Shield. Go back and watch when he turned on Roman and Dean, like, which was insane. You know.
he's a guy that you have to talk about can reinvent himself as well.
Oh,
I'm not
anything that's given to him, he runs with it.
I'm not saying that he reinvents himself like Jericho or anything like that, but he continuously is evolving. I
Yeah,
mean, his character on TV is very different from what you're talking about in 2014,
which is
2015.
insane.
I would say Rollins is as good as everybody always said. When he was in Ring of Honor, everybody said Tyler Black is as good as anybody, and that's before I even knew who he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when I actually saw him, I was like, oh, all right, I get it. I definitely get it. I do want to say one thing about 2014 because it's something that's always stuck in my head, and I want to know if you guys even think this matters. We talk about moves that lay somebody out for long periods of time. Sting comes down. Those guys were down for what? Uh,
Like 3, 4 minutes, like 4 minutes.
it might have been 7 minutes. They were knocked unconscious, and he pulls them over, and they do the 3 count. That
Right.
was like the only thing where I was like, I guess a kick out there wouldn't have made sense, but at the same time, you're like, man, that is a long time. Like, he's really knocked unconscious. Like, you should get him to a hospital at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I mean, it didn't matter. I mean, like,
I don't think
even
it did matter. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
even watching it now, it's like, because you're watching it live, it's like you don't think about, like, wait, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins been knocked
They've
out
just been
for
laying there. you
what's
know.
going on. Uh, no, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think people were paying attention to that. They didn't care.
Well, I got to say this too, though, in Survivor Series, and me and my brother Mike were actually watching some one that we hadn't seen before. It might have been '89, where the whole purpose of the pay per view was every Survivor, every match goes into the main event for
No.
an old Survivor Series. Obviously, Hogan wins at the end. Um, but what you noticed about that pay per view was that moves that don't count for a 3 count in any other match were happening left and right. Oh, oh, he just kicked him in the face. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he rolled him up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he hit him with a clothesline. 1, 2, 3. So I think Survivor Series has to be the pair of you where anything could just knock you out for who knows how long or how
Right.
short.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, let me guys go back and watch all of them.
Another thing about it, it's like your partners don't even try to save you. They'll just stand there. They'll be like, kick out, kick out. Then you don't kick. Like, bro, save them. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's definitely and I think War Games will make this a little bit different, obviously, because what War Games ends with one fall.
Nope.
Um,
The whole match doesn't start until everyone's in.
everybody's in it, so it should be interesting. I have to say, some of my favorite memories. I mean, there's so much. Obviously, we talked about it. I'll never forget when Hogan lost to Undertaker. That is something I'll never forget. It was my first Survivor Series. The next year, I really remember was they had put Bret Hart with Shawn Michaels, and this is way before. This is '92, and I remember Santa Claus coming to the ring after Bret Hart wins, and I was like, "Oh, this is like the kickoff to Christmas." I was getting that vibe, like, "Oh, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. We're going into Christmas." I have to always bring this up because I was not there for this, but the Boston Garden had my favorite Survivor Series match of all time, which is the All Americans versus the Foreign Fanatics. I've talked about this, Justin. I think I've been on your show. I've been on Nerds of Wrestling. We talked about this. I think in like maybe 2020 or something like that, where like I absolutely loved this whole build. If you want to talk about something that was like just great for the Survivor Series, this to me was the best because they started eliminating people from the Survivor Series before they got to Survivor Series, right?
Nice.
If you look at this, the original Undertaker was not supposed to be in the match. He was supposed to be Tatanka was in the match. On the other side, Pierre, who as um, PCO now, he was supposed to be in the match for the Foreign Fanatics. I guess the only thing that doesn't make sense is Crush is from Hawaii. You're not really a Foreign Fanatic, but this whole thing, this whole storyline, a lot. Lex Luger gets a lot of crap about not being able to do. He couldn't do what Hogan could do. We know that, but there was everything I loved about this build. I'm watching WWF Superstars every week, and Ludwig Borga finally beats Tatanka. Tatanka never lost. If you want to talk about Goldberg Street, Tatanka's was pretty damn cool too.
Yeah.
And when he finally lost, I was like, "Are you serious? Tatanka lost!" Like, and then he was taken out of the Survivor Series. So absolutely love that. 95 was good as well. I remember Owen Hart pleading. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is 94. Owen Hart's pleading with his mother to throw in the towel for Brett to lose to Bob Backlund in the submission match. Backlund had that crossface chicken wing in. He wouldn't let it go. Obviously, the screw job is something you have to talk about. I did not watch that one live. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. I think I was in like sixth or seventh grade. We just didn't order it. Um, just Team Alliance versus Team WWF. Even though it was really Team WWF versus Team WWF, if we ever want to go back and talk about
Right.
what happened there. But 2001 was really good. 2002 was unbelievable too. Shawn Michaels coming back and winning the world title. Paul Heyman turning on Brock Lesnar. '03, I don't remember too much about. I'm trying. After that, yeah, they get a little more hazy, but those are some of the most moments that I really, really remember about Survivor Series. Just so many great memories, and like I said, to me, it's a Thanksgiving tradition, and that's what I like to see it referred to as.
Survivor Series is iconic, man. When it comes, like you just named so many iconic moments. It's crazy to think about. There's so many moments that we can recall and reminisce.
For sure. I mean, Chuck Norris showed up at one Survivor Series. I
Did
mean,
he?
94, he was there,
No way.
So I'm trying to think what happened at night. I can't even. Oh, 96. I can't even. I'd have to look it up now. I'm blanking on that. But like I said, this is my all-time favorite Survivor Series match. I don't care what anybody says. It didn't need to be a banger or anything. Just everything about it was awesome. And what's kind of sad here is Ludwig Borg has now passed away. Yoko's passed away. Crush has passed away. So that's kind of sad there. But uh,
I love how you mentioned that it wasn't a banger and it didn't need to be a banger. A lot of Survivor Series matches don't need to have 5-star match, a 5-star quality match. As long as you have, like I said, as long as you have a story going. Survivor Series is one exception where I'm like the wrestling does not have to be amazing. Have the story going into the Survivor Series tag match is all you need because at the end of the day, like Survivor Series is something that a lot of us, take kind of serious and where we want to see the tag team match have a meaning to it. We don't need 5-star quality match. Just have some good wrestling and have a story going into it. Then we're good. That's it.
and see what the cool thing was back in the day too is they'd have all these storylines that didn't really have anything to do with each other run into each other for the Survivor Series match,
Which is amazing.
which is
Everything kind of like correlates at the end.
yeah. No, I definitely love. That's something very special about it. Go ahead, Kendall.
I was gonna say that's wrestling in general. Like as long as the story's good and the match is like decent, good. Like not every match needs to be a banger. Same way I say, not everybody that loses is buried. So
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's something I want. I know AEW is on right now, and me and Kendall have a lot of criticism of that product, but I do love it, and I want it to exist. A lot of the issues I have is I want them to understand that the story you can have great matches, right? And there's an audience that wants to see a lot of these false finishes and stuff, but if the story's good enough, kind of like what they did with MJF, people are going to pay. You know.
Exactly.
I want to ask one other question here, guys. This is going to be, and I know we kind of talked about it because you guys were excited for War Games. This is the first Survivor Series that is not under the vision of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I'll let Kendall. I know you haven't said anything in a little bit. I'm going to ask you, how are you feeling about Triple H's vision, not only for Survivor Series but for WWE right now?
It's been up and down so far. A lot of people been complaining about it and saying like his honeymoon season is over, but I'm like, y'all gave Tony Khan 3 years, but okay, but it's good. It should be a good pay per view, and I'm looking forward.
All right, awesome, Justin. What are you thinking so far?
I mean, he's doing good. There's some things I don't agree with, and one of the things I don't agree with is when you first had the women's tag team titles be defended, or whatever, you had Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah win the titles when you should have given the titles to Aaliyah. I mean, excuse me, Dakota Kai and Io. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, why not give it to Dakota and Io? Then a week later, they win. Obviously, they defend the titles for a while. They hold on to the titles, and then they lose them to Alexa and Asuka, and then they lose them again to Dakota and Io. And
It's like hot potato.
I was like, bro, just leave the titles on Dakota and Io.
Yeah.
Leave them. They're good. They're good. Do not do not take those titles off them again. Because if they do, I'll be upset if they lose them again. Like, come on, bro, leave them on. Because just side talk for a quick second conversation. Dakota Kai is extremely underrated in my opinion. She's way too good. I loved her since I first got introduced to her in the Mae Young Classic. Obviously, I know she did a lot of indie work. That's who all the wrestlers did, but Dakota Kai is one of my top 10 female wrestlers in the world. So Dakota, if you're listening, you're welcome.
Well, I don't think she ever should have been released, and
Uh,
Triple H brought her back.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't want to be too biased to Triple H because we come from the same home city. So I think I'll always be biased to Triple H
are you from
throughout
Greenwich?
his whole career. Huh?
Are you from
No,
Greenwich?
He's from Nashville, New Hampshire. Believe it or
Oh
not.
no shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's a true story. If you watch his documentary, they talk about it. But yeah, he's one of the most famous people from Nashua. I remember if you go to Dunkin' Donuts, my grandfather used to drink coffee with his parents. And my grandfather kind of thought wrestling was not, I don't know. He always talked about wrestling like it was real. And he would tell Triple H's parents that he thought their son was an asshole. Um, so a little fun story there. But yes, I kind of figured it out that it was them because I was like, who the heck would have this WrestleMania jacket unless it was given to them by
Wait,
somebody that
wait.
works there?
Like the Dunkin' Donuts had like a jacket that was
So you go into Dunkin' Donuts. So the Levesque parents, I don't know if they still do. This is about 10, 15 years ago. My grandfather's been dead since '07. And I don't know if they're still with us or not. But there was a Dunkin' Donuts over by the Christophers. What is that exit? I suck at the exit 7 something or exit 6 or whatever it is in Nashua. And they'd be at that Dunkin' Donuts almost every single day. And my grandfather, when they were living here, he would go to that Dunkin' Donuts because he lived right down the street and he'd go there and hang out. Now, I thought he was bullshitting me at first that he knew Triple H's parents
that is
until I
awesome.
went until I went to that Dunkin' Donuts. I go, WrestleMania jacket. No one, I've never seen anybody with that jacket on. And then I saw a picture of what his parents looked like. I was like, my grandfather was telling me the goddamn truth. But I knew they were from Nashville, but I didn't know that like they actually hung out at this Dunkin' Donuts all the time.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and I think they bought a house they bought a house here in New Hampshire on Lake Winnipesaukee, I believe, as a vacation home. But all types of people have been running in Triple H in New Hampshire for years. Even when he was dating China, obviously that he is from here. He is from Nashua. This is his home, and he's donated money to stuff here and stuff like that. So so I got no gripes with Triple H. Honestly, So far, I've liked the changes I've seen in the show. I'm more engaged in the show. We're not seeing as many repeat matches, so I'm happy about that. And I think that he just said, because there was at one point Vince was talking about getting rid of Survivor Series, right? Instead, Triple H doesn't get rid of it. He goes, "I'm going to give you War Games at Survivor Series." So I think he cares about making a difference here.
Just don't take the whole title away. Just yeah, Survivor Series War Games. Like you don't need to take away the title because obviously it's iconic, and I don't think because what other pay per view are you going to make in the top four? Money in the Bank?
I could care
No.
less about that at this point. Yeah.
It's like just leave Survivor Series. It's iconic. It's truly something that people want to see last. I want to see obviously in the future if I have kids, I want my kids to see Survivor Series. Like I don't want it to go anywhere.
No, I don't either. And honestly, if I had the reins, which I don't, and I'm not someone that should ever be paid to run a wrestling company,
No,
I would make this the biggest cluster F that you could possibly have. I would have war games, and I would have traditional Survivor Series matches, and I would maybe have one-on-one match.
oh Jesus, you would have like a
That
7 hour show.
no, you could. Well, you know how Survivor Series matches can fly.
Yeah, I know.
Those quick pins, you know what I mean? So you can get down to that one-on-one. Um, I don't know. We're gonna get into this, so let's do
Yeah,
predictions because there's
do
some
it.
matches that like
That'll be dope.
I'm not as excited about as I should be probably, and I'm gonna get to the first one here. Um, Ken, I'll let you go first here. We got Shotzi versus Shotzi. Is that her name?
Shotzi, yeah.
I've yet to see a lot of Shotzi. I guess I don't. I watch more of SmackDown on clips, and the most clips I want to watch has to do with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. But we got Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey. Kendall, how do you feel about this match? What's your prediction on it?
This is just basically a warm up match. Shotzi, she might get a few blows in, but it's gonna be Ronda that wins.
Okay. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if I disagree with that at all. Justin, what are you thinking about this? What's your prediction?
I see. I like Shotzi. I've always been a fan of Shotzi since I'm going on a bit of a rant here. I've always been a fan of Shotzi since I first uh discovered her in 2018, 2019. So like, I've always been a fan. I've always wanted what's best for her. See her succeed. She got signed to WWE. Obviously, I was very proud of her. Uh, so I mean, it's unfortunately a filler match. It's a match that I feel like a lot of people. I feel like this is the match where the lobbies are going to be busy as hell for their drinks, soda, popcorn for getting ready for war games. Uh, I don't know if I can say the same. I'm probably going to be too invested in like the whole atmosphere of the TD Garden to get out of my seat during anything. So I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Shotzi will put up a fight, but at the end of the day, Ronda will retain and walk out women's champion. So
Yeah, and I will say, just pay attention to people in the garden because, as I have done myself, I've fallen into another row before. The higher you go up there, it can get very dangerous. I've had some words with people at Celtics games where beer has fallen on me and stuff like that, but it all depends. I'm not even sure. I still got to talk to my brother. I'm paying him tonight for the ticket, and I'm not even sure where we're sitting, but I trust him. But there are times in the garden where I've been so far up.
you don't wait. You don't have your ticket yet. What's going on?
Dude, everything can do on.
Huh?
You're probably gonna have it on your phone.
What?
Your ticket.
No, I mean you haven't got your ticket yet, or you got
No,
your
I have a
ticket?
ticket. I just don't know where we're sitting. I
Oh,
haven't. I haven't paid him. My brother likes to put stuff on his credit card because he gets points. So he's always the guy to be like, I'm gonna put. Yeah, no, I'll get the tickets. And what he does is he gets these points on his credit card, and then everybody pays him back. So he's flown to
Johnny,
Florida for softball tournaments because of the
Johnny,
points in his
Johnny has the
card.
tickets on his phone, so I don't know. I know where we're sitting. I know it's not. I know it's up there. I think in the 200 level.
It's fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're gonna find a lot of great fans up there, wrestling fans, because not everybody can afford to get. Again, we might be. I'm not. I'm not. I don't even know. I
You
should
could
have
be.
asked
You could
this.
be. You could be ringside.
No, we're definitely not at ringside. But anyways, my prediction on this. I'm going Ronda. This might be a time where I might be trying to find you guys if I haven't already.
The TD
Or
Garden is. I know it's massive, bro. So
No, I mean, I've been honestly, yeah, I'll be able to find. It's not. It's very doable. I mean,
Okay.
like I said, we talked about the soft air. I've been going to the garden since I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? So
I'm
great
so
place.
excited. I can't wait, dude. I'm beyond excited.
It's gonna be awesome. I never got to go to the original garden, which everybody said smelled like beer and urine. Much cleaner here in 2022 than the 1980s
I
were.
mean, beer
You
and
know,
urine, that's sports for you, man. That's
yeah.
men.
Everybody say how hot it would get in the original garden during the Celtics games, but all right, I want to ask this one. This is another match. It's not that I'm not excited for it. I'm just I've seen a lot of these guys all competing. We got Lashley, Rollins, Austin Theory. Big shout out to Austin Theory. I saw on Instagram him, Titus O'Neil, a bunch of people were giving back to the Boston community over the last couple days. They were bagging stuff for the homeless and giving shampoo, deodorant, must essentials out to people. So big shout out to Austin Theory. We'll stay in the same order here. Kendall, who are you picking in this match? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I got Seth retaining, but I did come up with an idea that like Ali's gonna get involved some type of way in this match because he's been getting his butt kicked the past couple of weeks, and he's gonna get
He really
involved
has.
some way somehow. So expect Ali in this match some way somehow. But I got Seth retaining. He just won the title about a month ago, so I don't see him dropping it anytime soon. So Seth.
All right, Justin, what are you thinking? Are you hyped for this or?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to the match when it was announced earlier, when it was announced during Raw on Monday, I believe they announced that it's going to be an official match for Survivor Series. Uh, it's just giving the fans, another title match, to get us hyped for the main event. Uh, I'm excited for it. I'm a big fan of Austin Theory. I like Austin Theory. I really hope he succeeds in WWE as he is, because he's doing good with whatever he is handed to him. Uh, I do see Seth retaining, and like Kendall said, obviously, you're gonna have Ali come in and try to screw over the match. So we'll see what happens, but who knows? Maybe Theory will catch a W and walk out champion, as because I know he had the title before, so maybe he'll win it back.
Yeah, no, they've all been champions, and don't get me wrong, I haven't hated anything. Well, obviously, and I think we've all talked about. We were all very confused about Money in the Bank being used for the U.S. title, which that has never happened. And maybe it's evolved. Maybe the cash in is now evolved to you can use it for whatever you want. I assumed it was a world title. Could have been wrong on that. I think that's what it was originally, but this thing goes back to 2005, which is what 17 years ago, which is
Yeah,
hard to believe. Um,
I know.
I'm not going to disagree with you guys. I think it's Rollins. I would honestly, I want Lashley to have one of the world titles again. I'm a big fan of Lashley, big fan of the character that when he first returned to WWE, it was like very lackluster. Lashley probably since what maybe the pandemic just found his groove and has shown that he could be the Lashley that he was in TNA. Because that Lashley was, I thought, was one of his best versions. I do think he retains. If he didn't, I think it would go to Lashley. But again, maybe a lot of people are like, "Oh, Triple H is soured on Theory." I go, I don't think that's true. I don't think he soured on him. I think he never wanted him to have Money in the Bank. Is what I think. Is Triple H was booking, not because he doesn't like him. I don't think he was. He was probably like he's not ready to be world champion, which he's not. You know what I mean? So
If Vince was still running things, I think Theory would be champion right now. Do you think?
well, it all depends. I think Vince McMahon too, and maybe you guys disagree with me, let me know. They put the two world titles on Reigns, and I don't think there was a plan after that. I don't think there was. They're like, this would be really cool. We put both titles on one guy. Yeah, let's do it. All right, now how do we get him off it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most. This thing is really over, and they're doing these entertaining promos on SmackDown every week. Um, now what do we do? you know,
You just let it ride, bro. Let it ride. Enjoy the ride.
I have no idea who's eventually going to beat Roman for either one of those titles.
Nobody.
Everything they've done
Nobody.
with the bloodline.
That man's gonna be a champion for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, when something's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know. Uh,
Exactly.
all right, I want to get into this, Kendall. What do you think? I'm very hyped for this match. I'm hoping everybody in the background there gets involved. I did think, I felt like they were building towards the War Games thing with this, but I knew once they announced the women's, they probably wouldn't, and then you had to have the bloodline in. So I'm thinking everybody's getting involved in this because this is one of the hottest storylines they got going. How are you feeling about AJ Styles versus Finn Balor? You got Judgment Day, you got the club in the background there. How you feeling about this match? What do you think? Who do you think takes it?
I think I think AJ takes it since they took the loss in Saudi. I feel like this should have been a 6-man match with AJ in the club versus Finn and Dominic
I would have liked
and
that.
then since
Yeah.
you're gonna have Mia Rams, Mia and Rhea in the women's war games. So why not just make this a 6-man to make it more simple, to make it more simpler, whatever. Um, but I got AJ winning. It's crazy that he hasn't won a singles match on pay per view in over 3 years, and I was like, huh? And I was like, that's crazy.
It's almost like way to take advantage of a guy who wins and losses don't matter for him because they don't. You know,
Right.
we have something out here. This looks like we we got
Got
hacked
hacked.
here. 69mega.com. Have you already found love already? 69omega.com. Please stay off my off my YouTube. This is a family show. We do not need that.
No.
Uh, so
I have I kind of want to go on a little bit of a rant on this.
sure,
Excuse me if I
rant
don't make
on.
sense. Seth Rollins, excuse me, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor obviously is a match that when AJ Styles first got to the WWE and Finn Balor went to the WWE, I'm sure everybody and their mother was like, "Give me AJ Styles versus Finn Balor." A year later, we got it, and it was a good match, but it wasn't supposed to happen. It was
Says
just given
people
to
got
us.
a couple people got sick, if I recall, and
They
they said,
gave us
"We'll just give you this."
right, and people were like, "Holy shit!" Okay, and they have a great match. Don't get me wrong; it was a good match, but it could have been done so much better with the right storyline, with the right
Zero build. Yep.
zero bill, no bill at all whatsoever. You have it just happened by accident, it's just like whatever, like here you go to make you happy and shut up. We're giving you AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, and it was at a random pay per view. Nobody gave up about, and
If I do recall too, Bray was sick and Reigns was sick, and
yeah, so you
they
had
had Kurt go this Shield, and they gave us this match so that they could kind of just say like, "We're still giving you what we're giving you your money's worth." Still,
yeah, no, I mean it was their money's worth, but it was just zero bill. I mean it
No,
could have
I
been
mean,
done
and
so
here's the thing: like they announced it like I think a couple days before, and they still gave uh Finn Balor the demon character. I'm like, you knew you were gonna face AJ like the day of, or like the day before.
right.
So there's no need for you to have the demon character.
oh, they were throwing shit at the wall. You know,
Right.
like
So and like now you have this whole storyline being built with, Dominic, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor's doing his thing. You have AJ Styles bringing back the OC. You got Mia. You got him going in with them, which is great. I like it. I have no complaints. AJ. So here's the thing with me is like, yeah, AJ Styles is losing a lot, but he's putting people over, which is what I love to see. You know, putting over. AJ Styles doesn't need to win every single match that he's being booked on because AJ Styles. That's fucking AJ Styles, man. Like he doesn't need to win every match, and if he loses at Survivor Series, I don't think it's gonna do anything for him. I mean, it's not gonna destroy the OC. It's not gonna bump him down the card or anything. It's AJ Styles. I mean, I think the Judgment Day needs to be put over more right now to be taken more seriously as they already are. So I got Finn Balor winning. That's my prediction.
That's what I'm trying to tell some people. Like our boy Dylan, shout out to you if you're watching. But he's like, Seth has to win. Seth has to win. Seth has. I'm like, no, he doesn't. It's Seth freaking Rollins. He doesn't need to win every match. Like Seth can, like you just said about AJ. If Seth loses, it won't bump him down the card. It won't affect his status
It's
because
Seth
it's Seth
Rollins.
freaking Rollins. So
No,
it
no,
won't affect him any kind of way. So it's like
what
the same thing you said about AJ. It won't if him losing won't bump him on the card, but they won at Saudi. So why not have him get his get back this time? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely understand, completely agree with what you're saying, Kendall. And it's like, yeah, like you said about Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins has, well, Dylan said, shot Dylan, love you to death, bro. We're not talking shit, but Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins. At the end of the day, like I remember he lost to Cesaro at WrestleMania in 2021, I think, right? 2021. He lost to Cesaro. Cesaro needed that win way more than Seth Rollins. That was Cesaro's first singles match at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins did not need to win that match whatsoever. Putting over somebody to make someone else look good makes you look better as a wrestler in the long run. And that is what AJ Styles is doing. He's putting over people. I was at Hooters when Dominic beat AJ. I'm like, bro, Dominic just beat AJ. Yeah, it
so
was
did
a it
James
was
Ellsworth.
yeah, it was a roll up. It was
Yeah.
a roll up. He got distracted, but that man had his shoulders pinned for 3 seconds for Dominic Mysterio. He put over Dominic on Raw. That is something that Dominic will never forget. Again, it wasn't clean, but hey, he in the record book, Dominic beat AJ Styles. That's what the record book will say.
At the end of the day, if you're a main event guy, you're a main event guy. Not none of these guys we're talking about, and I hate to say it, like I'm not dissing on, and this is not a no, it's obviously not a diss. AJ's not Hogan. Rollins is not Hogan. They're not Austin. They're not The Rock, but they're main event guys who can take losses like that, and it doesn't affect their aura at all. Especially AJ, because AJ is just so beloved by every wrestling fan. Like, have you ever heard a wrestling fan being like, "Nah, AJ
Some.
Styles,
I heard some people not too
it's
big a fan of AJ Styles.
that is as rare as it gets." You know, like I know Hogan back in the day was always trying to protect his spot at the main part of the card, but AJ doesn't have to worry about that, especially at this point in his career. And like, I don't think there's ever been a point in AJ Styles' career or a Finn Balor or a Seth Rollins. They're not on the stats, like they haven't been built to the point that Roman has, where Roman's gone so long without losing. They've always been about, as main event guys, they've always been about 60-40, right?
Yeah.
Where they'd win 60% of the matches, but they might lose 40%. And they didn't always lose to guys that were like bottom of the card. Even the stuff that AJ did with Ellsworth, I mean, he didn't really lose to him clean. It was pretty entertaining stuff.
It was
Um,
awesome.
but when you do build up a guy like Roman Reigns, right, now the losses mean something. So that's where I think you get a little bit more difficult. Doesn't affect AJ.
It
I'm
all
gonna say,
depends on the wrestler. It all, like you said, it depends on the wrestler.
I'll say this: if AJ, I'm gonna pick AJ, but that's gonna lead into my women's pick as well. Um, do you guys care if we do a quick 1 minute intermission?
Go
Just
for it.
one. I'll be right
I'll
back.
be right back. Nope.
Yeah.
We're all right. While we're doing a 1 minute intermission, go subscribe to Faction Cast Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Kendall, we're not
Kendall, we're
live.
not live. I got lost. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck.
No, I'm joking, bro. We're live. Go look up on the left hand side.
Bruh. Well, you. No, nope, 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 nope. Not taking that.
Sorry, not sorry. Boom.
That was not me, folks. That was an audio recording of me being forced. I had a gun held to my head. My camera's not on, so you can't see, but trust me. But while we're gone,
He's
while we're
lying,
at,
folks. He's lying. He's lying.
Justin texted me and said if I didn't say it, he was gonna have Dan block me. But um,
That part is true.
yep. But go subscribe to Fact the Cast podcast. Let's freedom that bullet. He's my OG. My
Hi, Dan.
tribal chief.
Hi, Dan. Welcome back.
I like it. Do you guys giving a commercial? I love
Yeah,
it.
we're a little bit, a little bit.
All right, let's get. All right, muted
Muted.
my. All right. Let's get into the main events here. I'm gonna say it's a dual main event. I'd have to assume the Bloodline's gonna be the final match. But this is what everybody's hyped up to see. They want to see War Games. We've never had War Games on anything but NXT, so this is gonna be the first time that this has happened in a. I don't want
We have two. We
to
have
be.
two war game matches.
Yeah, we have two. It's the first time that we're gonna have it on WWE television that was not NXT.
WWE television.
Yeah, what did I just say?
And WWF.
Oh, sorry. Living in the past. We've talked a lot about nostalgia tonight. So, all right, we'll stay in the same order here. Kendall, I got three kind of questions for you here. One, well, maybe even more. Who is going to win? Who gets the pinfall? And last but not least, they're going to announce it on Friday. Who is the mystery partner?
Number one, I think Team Beyond gonna win. Oh, nope, scratch that. I think Team Bailey's gonna win. Bailey with the yams, but is gonna get the pin on Bianca. And for the final member, number one, just let it happen. Now, no one else knows. Why? Should just the fifth person come out there, Bill's suspense. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? They just haven't come out there. I think the fifth member is gonna be Tegan Knox. Um, Sasha, you know, that whole situation. Oh, she's not gonna take any wrestling bookings until January 1st, 2023. She covered a whole load ton of names that's non-wrestling related. She's not going to AEW because AEW F Boy Con. You can go F them. But um, yeah, not gonna be Sasha, so gonna be Tegan Knox.
That's an interesting pick. That's a very interesting pick because that's not even one that I even thought of. And you said that you're going with Team Bailey, correct? Who
Yep.
and who scores the
Bailey
pinfall?
I said Bailey. Think
Bailey.
Bailey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Bailey.
I got thrown out when you said Tegan Knox. I started focusing on that. um, Justin, what are you thinking for this?
Off off mute. There you go. I was on mute.
It happens
So
so easily.
it happens to the best of us, man. I don't like how they're announcing their fifth member, the mystery opponent on SmackDown. I think, like Kendall said, it should happen. If he said this, if I heard this correctly, it should happen at Survivor Series. Like who is it? The anticipation, like 20 plus thousand people waiting. Like, okay, Who is it? Who is it? Oh my god. It's Tegan Knox. Oh my god. I think everyone is going to be guessing Sasha if that's the thing. But since they're not doing it in Survivor Series in Boston the day of, I don't think it's going to be Sasha. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be. Maybe they'll throw us like a curveball. Like, got you. We ain't going to announce it until Saturday. So you got to wait until then. I think Tegan Knox is going to be the uh, the mystery opponent because you got to remember that Tegan and Dakota, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a lot of unsolved issues that need to be answered. And my freaking goodness, it'll be so much better if they did it on Saturday. Man, it'd be so much better if they did it on Saturday. Just we're grown men talk about wrestling, right? And we love it when we see a wrestler return, and we love seeing the bad guys' reactions face when the good guys returning. Like I can just imagine Dakota Kai's face. Like right now, if it's Tegan Knox, her face is gonna look like she's just seen a ghost. Like because again, they have so many unsolved answers that needs to be squashed because their rivalry in NXT was on a whole nother level for women, especially. So I'm excited to see who it's going to be. I really do wish this would have it as Survivor Series and not because if it's Tegan Knox, let's be real. If it's Tegan Knox, that could have waited till Saturday. Like that doesn't need to be addressed like on Friday. Like I don't think so.
Unless you want a riot on your hands or very upset people, because Sasha's hometown is Boston. If you leave that audience to
Tegan Knox, yeah.
you want okay. I've been there in the garden where and I'm not kidding. Sasha Banks was in Hell in the Cell with Charlotte Flair.
You were
And
there?
oh yeah, and this place was hyped for Sasha Banks. I mean, the people that she came out on this car, it was all these indie wrestlers from the area that
Yep.
everybody knew. And
Wow,
that
I
place,
think Wags was one of them. Wagner Brown was one of
Wagner
the
Brown
guys.
was one of
Yeah,
them.
look at that.
Ilya Markopoulos was one of them.
Yeah,
That the Garden, you got to understand when it's your hometown, you're not John Cena. Because I mean, John Cena got a lot of flack in Boston, but this because of how he was booked back then or whatever.
right. But it's Sasha Banks, Boston,
Sasha
Massachusetts.
Banks, the place went nuts. Just as soon as her music hit, the place went nuts. Um, but then she lost to Charlotte Flair because they love doing that, like you're gonna lose in your hometown or
Oh,
whatever.
dude, I was pissed.
But if you start to say it's a mystery partner, and you start getting these people going, it's Sasha Banks, it's Sasha Banks, and then it's not Sasha Banks. Now, wow, 69 Omega, calm down. We're not here. We're fine. None of us are lonely. Don't worry about it. Um, but um, but yeah, that place would be very upset. And I think that it'd be very similar, not exactly similar to Rey Mysterio getting booed when Daniel Bryan wasn't it. That crowd would not be happy. And they
That
would
was
boo
bad.
whoever yeah,
That was bad.
they would boo whoever came out if it was
Okay,
not Sasha
okay,
Banks.
you're right. My bad. Excuse me.
No, I'm just saying
No,
that's
you're good. You're good.
you know what I'm saying? Like you want to make sure that you if you're going to have a return, you don't want it to be hijacked, you know.
True.
But
He's right,
um
guys.
who do you have getting the pinfall? Who do you have winning? Did you say
I'm biased, bro. I want to see Dakota all the time. I want to see her win. I want to see her get pushed more, man. I want to see her get more opportunities. I'm just gonna be biased. I'm just gonna say, underdog Dakota gets the pin on Mia. Just have her pin because you're gonna have if it's Tegan, you're gonna have Tegan and Dakota like beating the living out of each other. So but I think it's gonna be the good guys going over. Do you think this War Games match? Do you think this War Games opens the show? It
it's
probably would
po-
make the most sense, just to get it out of the
it's
way.
very possible. I wouldn't do that, but it's only 5 matches. So maybe you want both of them at the ends of the card. I don't know. Or I mean, one starts, one finishes.
I was gonna say not in a
One start,
row.
one finish. Like you can't have them back to back. That's
No,
No,
like, just have like one start that have like the in between matches be like no disrespect to the wrestlers, but like the piss break. But
you're gonna have the
yeah,
women's match start. You're gonna have the women's war game start.
yeah.
there's going to be a piss break after whichever War Games match happens. So you're going to have to throw something else out
It's
there.
gonna be a long match. I remember I went to. It's funny. I remember I went to WrestleMania Backlash in Rhode Island earlier this year, and Cody versus Seth kicked off the show. After that match, everyone got right up because I don't think they gave a flying f about the next 4 and 3 matches. They're like, we just want to see them in it. Literally everybody went to the bathroom in the concession stands after Cody and Seth. Nobody stood it. Like, obviously the arena was full, but like a lot of people left their seats for that after that match.
I do wonder if they book that way. If they do actually look at it like, hey, people are going to need a break. We
Yeah,
got to keep the pay per view going, and not every match can be the main event or even one of the top card
it,
matches.
it's probably honestly it's probably going to be the women's war games first, and then they're probably going to do. I don't even want to say, I don't even want to say they probably. I don't want to say they're going to do Shotzi versus. They're probably going to open up with Shotzi versus Ronda, honestly, and then they'll probably do I don't know that Styles versus
I can see
Balor.
it being women's war games. Then Shotzi versus Ronda, so that can be the piss break. Then when everybody comes back, it's Finn versus Bobby. So they're gonna be like, okay, are we gonna sit down and watch this, or are we gonna get our food? And
And then it's
then
going to
it
be
could be, then it could be AJ versus Finn. Then it could be in the bloodline. Everybody's gonna be glued to their seats once the bloodline comes out. Which, by the way, I have a hot take for when we get there. So when we get there,
I'm going to be honest about something I don't understand, and maybe I don't know why wrestling companies don't release the order of the matches beforehand. I'm curious about
anticipation.
that.
It's just anticipation, It's like because I don't think they want the fans to be like, oh no, they're gonna get up during this match. No one's gonna sit down during this match.
I guess that could be part of it, but I do think there's matches thrown in there that they freaking know no one cares about. Like there has to be. Like over the years, it's like
That's why they do it. That's why
you
they
know.
do it. Unfortunately, that's why. Unfortunately, nope. Or maybe they could kick off the SmackDown Women's title and then the War Game second. But I don't think they're gonna do that because people are gonna want to get out of their seats after the first match, to get some food or something.
If it's a War Games match, people are gonna be glued in. They're gonna be like, I need to get up for a second because that match is gonna go kind of long.
Oh, I'm not getting up. I'm not missing this because I know how lines are, and I know how I'm just I can't do
Well,
it.
if you're high up in the garden, you'll be fine. There ain't too bad of lines.
Okay,
It's
well,
it's close, or you can always find something. Um, but I will say I'm just gonna throw out my prediction here. I'm gonna say I think the mystery person, personally, if they're announcing it on Friday, unless they pull one, if they pull a thing and they don't announce it on Friday, then I am gonna say I really do think it's Sasha Banks, and that could be one of the craziest pops in Boston. Uh, it would probably be up in the top 5 in Boston that could
dude, I'm
possibly
like I'm
happen.
like shaking right now. I really want to. I really hope it's Sasha.
That would be unbelievable. But the only way I believe that is if, well, yeah, I think if they don't announce it Friday for whatever reason, then it's her. Other than that, I probably think because they said you're not going to be disappointed, right? That was the exact words of Bianca Belair. To say Tegan Knox, I don't know if everybody knows who she is. I can't even put a face to her name right now. That's probably my fault.
What,
I just, it's probably my fault. I don't, I'm older. I don't follow everything as closely. Um, when you say you're not going to be disappointed, I feel it's got to be. Yeah, did she get released by the
Yeah,
company?
She
Yeah.
did.
Okay, I remember that. Okay, now I remember that.
You're old, tired, and you work with freaking.
And I work with children. I'm gonna
Excuse
say it's.
me.
I'm gonna say it's probably Becky Lynch. I think she's probably healthy. But I also think like you know what? Screw it. This is a random prediction show. I'm gonna say it's Charlotte, and she's coming back as a babyface, and that's what I think. But if you really,
Yo, listen. Why? Why, Dan? Why?
she's a top star. She's. I mean,
I don't
honestly,
give. I don't give up. Nobody's gonna sit for that match. Everybody will be like, okay, I'm out.
I don't know. I mean, I think that she is. I think Charlotte is a top star. I think she's probably maybe the best women's wrestler that's ever lived at this point. And that's not a hot take. I've seen a lot of Charlotte Flair over the last couple of years, and I really do think that she. I do think that, and I thought that
I
for a
almost went
while.
from the show. Almost cussed you out, Dan. For real.
I think people are just sick of her. Is what the problem is. They're just
The
sick
be-
of her.
but to say she's the best women's wrestler in the world, Dan,
I mean,
that's
who's
that's
better?
that's a hot take right there, man.
Who would you put over
That's
her?
bold. I can't name anybody right now, but I'm not putting. There's no way she's the best women's wrestler in the whole world. I just don't think so.
I mean, I've seen so. I mean, I've seen a lot of good stuff out of Oscar too, but there's no one else that really comes to mind. As
Are you
top.
talking about like right now or ever? Right now, but like
I think ever could be a hot take. I would have to break that down. I think she's probably the best that I've seen in the last 10
That is
years.
definitely something that we gotta do probably in like January, couple months. Like look at your top women's wrestler, like really like dig and like do some
I
deep
think
digging.
I think that's something we're all guilty of is that we haven't focused that hard on it. And I think it's something we all collectively could do is at least come up with our top maybe 15 all time.
Even
You know,
make it yeah top 10, top 15, but even for men's wrestlers too, because I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, Roman Reigns is the number one wrestler in the entire world, because that is absolutely false. There's no way in hell he's the best wrestler in the entire world. Like
depending
that's
on what it
hot.
all, but it all depends. Is like we always talk about this is that wrestling is subjective. So when you say like the best wrestler in the world, it all depends on what's your definition of that.
Just obviously I can't get too deep into it, but
Because
like
like, so what I'm
that's
saying is
like
like
in
UFC.
WWE standards, he's in top 10. Obviously, he's great, but am I gonna put him over? Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, Japan Shinsuke Nakamura. Absolutely not. You know,
Well, but it depends on what entertains you though, because if you like, okay, so if let's say we're talking about the UFC, right?
right?
And you have a clear fight between two people, and one guy truly wins, right? And one guy truly loses. This is where wrestling blurs the lines because it's predetermined and you have all this. I can tell you who the best fighter in the world is, right? How can you define who the best wrestler in the world is? Because it would all come down to what you enjoy. So I don't know if that's possible. Now, because I get so much shit for this, okay? Yes, it's a family show. We're allowed to say the S word. It's not too bad. Um, I say, and I don't like Terry Bollea. Okay, I don't like Terry Bollea, the human being. Hulk Hogan as the performer, to me, and everybody goes, well, what are you talking about? I say he's the best wrestler of all time. Not,
Okay, yeah. I get
listen to
what
what
you're
I'm
saying in
saying.
that sense. Yes,
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's like he puts on the best matches or he does anything because then it's like is he the best wrestler or the best entertainer? But you really can't call wrestling is not real. You know what I mean? So like, how do you define that? But I was like, man, I'm watching these matches and all this guy has to do is throw a punch and they're going nuts. So it's like I don't know how you. It's like it's so.
subjective. No, you're
It's yeah.
right.
It's like
You're
impossible to define it.
abs- you're there. There's so many. There's so many. It's a hot topic, obviously, for a lot of wrestling fans because you just said it.
so I'm gonna lay it down. That's me interrupt. I have a Mount Rushmore. It's Hulk Hogan because he brought in the most fans. He brought in the biggest gates. Um, Stone Cold, he was one of the main like pillars, if you want to call him. You know, uh, of the Attitude Era. He's the one that opened the door to the Attitude Era. Rock, he was the most entertaining, the one on the mic. And a hot take: if you go back and look at some of Rock's matches, they weren't that good. Like they
No, it took
call
it
like
took him
Cena,
time. Yeah.
yeah, they weren't that. Yeah, it was a different time, but Rock's matches weren't that good. It was just his promos, and they call Cena and Hogan, oh, the five moves of death. Okay, The Rock did the fucking little his comeback, people's elbow, rock bomb, spine buster. Wow, good
Don't
match.
forget, he started
Don't
throwing in
forget,
the
he started throwing
sharpshooter
in sharpshooter.
quite a
Yeah,
bit.
sharpshooter. Um, I know a lot of people have like about this. Chris Benoit. Don't care. Chris Benoit's a person. Is a piece of shit. I hope he's burning in hell with gasoline draws on. Chris Benoit, a wrestler, greatest technical wrestler of all effing time. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He's the greatest technical wrestler of all time. And the
Piece of
person that
shit
even
human,
comes close
piece of shit human
is
being.
His brain was
his
pretty
brain was
messed
pretty
up. I'm not
messed
making
up.
excuses for him, but his
Right.
his brain was is it was mush.
Like
Piece
I
of
said,
shit. Yeah.
the person can go to fucking hell. I hope he's burning in hell. The wrestler, the wrestler, is the greatest technical wrestler of all time. And I know a lot of Kurt Angle, he gets a lot of flack. I know you recently said if you erase Chris Benoit, then you're basically erasing his whole career, which is true. Um, and the fourth person on my list has to be yeah, Kurt Angle. I'll put Kurt Angle up there. Another great technical wrestler. He's not better than Benoit in my opinion, even though he's a gold medalist, but he's up there. Um, Perk Angle, whatever you want to call him. I always put on back matches. Another hot take. I feel like his TNA run was better than his WWE run. But um, yeah, talking about Survivor Series. Let's get back to that.
No, it's a fun cut. There was something you were saying, Justin, that I'm trying to think what you were going with because we are talking about the subjectiveness. Um, was there
Sorry,
something
like,
else you were saying on that?
oh, my allergies are acting up.
Oh,
Um,
I hear you.
no, you're good. I just, woo, I forgot, man. I forgot. But when we talk about who the best wrestler is, I'm not gonna, because obviously there's so many like pinpoints that we need to put in. Like I'm talking about wrestling wise, I'm talking about catchphrases, like promos, X, Y, and Z. I get what you mean when you said Hulk Hogan was the greatest wrestler of all time. I get it because he's done so much in the wrestling business to where he in your eyes he is to me. I was never a fan of Hulk Hogan. I don't like him, not even as a wrestler. I could care less. Like he
I'm
comes
not
out, I'm
saying I
just
like
like
Terry Bollea as a person because that's not my point. Like,
when Hulk Hogan comes out, I'm just like, you were there at WrestleMania. I wasn't. When Alexa Bliss went like this, his music hit. I was like, okay,
yeah, it's
whatever.
really. I think wrestling has to be divided into categories. But I would say the two biggest draws of all time is Hogan and Austin. And
Yeah,
I
Austin,
don't,
Austin. Yeah.
I'm not sure that there's up for debate. But a lot, and people say Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler of all time. And let's be honest, Ric Flair drew money in a much smaller market than those two did, but he drew people. Okay,
He, I
he
mean,
just wasn't in New York.
you go to a wrestling show, and Kendall, I'm sure it's the same for you in Texas. When you go to a WWE show, you go to any wrestling, especially WWE, one person yells, "Woo!" You have 20,000 people yelling, "Woo!" right back. That's Ric Flair. That's
And that's
like
not going to die for a long, long time.
hell
That's going to be
no.
around way before we're all gone as
Yeah.
well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that is going to be a
Even
thing.
after we're all gone, like that thing is going to be carried on for generations. It's something that I remember. Started off topic. This is completely random. I remember I went to Money in the Bank in 2019 in Hartford, Connecticut, which is still crazy to think that Money in the Bank was in Hartford, Connecticut. Like, Never again will I ever like picture that. And that was an awesome show. I remember I was with my friend Tyler, and he told his friend to yell "woo" loud, and she's like, "Why would I do that?" He's like, just do it, like see what people do." She goes, "No, I don't want to do it. I'm scared." I'm like, "What are you scared of?" And I yelled "woo." These 1,000 people outside were yelling "woo." Right, everybody in Hartford were just yelling "woo." So that's completely off topic, but that was cool. Just cool.
It's one of the best things ever.
Oh, I love it.
I've been doing that woo thing for a long, long time, and a lot of the indie guys know that that's the spot they want to do, and they want to get the crowd going,
Well,
which I do love. I will say my final prediction: Team Bailey wins, and Bailey is going to pin Bianca Belair in the ring. That's going to help, in my opinion, it's going to help Bailey. It doesn't hurt Bianca again because it's not for the title. But I do see Damage Control with Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross. Yeah, not Nikki ASH, Nikki Cross. Thank you, Triple H, for that, fixing that.
thank God.
Um, so that's my prediction there.
Can I say one more thing too? Triple H. It's not like Triple H is taking time to do his things. Like, okay, so we're gonna do. So he. It's not like he went to Nikki Ash and was like, okay, so week one we're gonna do this. Week two we're gonna do this. Week three you're kind of like getting this villain s where you're gonna have to turn into a villain. No, just on a random Monday she lost to Candice LeRae. She took off her mask and that was it. Oh, okay.
I love it. He's trying to, and I'm not saying Vince told because Vince, I'm not, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, maybe he's like the Al Davis of wrestling, right? Al Davis was this great coach for the Oakland Raiders, right? Transcended football, but Al started to lose his goddamn mind as he got older. Vince started because Vince is still the greatest mind ever in wrestling, and I don't care what anybody says. He is the greatest mind in wrestling. He took it to the
Absolutely.
mainstream. It's just as he got older, it's like I don't know. Like, and I don't want to say anything of this. Vince was never all perfect. There are the new generation. There was some good stuff there, but there was some really bad stuff there. When Vince had no competition or anything, it's like it didn't matter. CM Punk said it best. He's gonna make money despite himself, and he did. But like some of the ideas are really bad, and they just weren't that entertaining, and the show was getting very, very boring. One Survivor Series moment that we didn't talk about was the egg of last year, the golden egg. And there's a reason we didn't talk about that because it was horrible.
Dan, why'd you
So
bring it up, man?
yeah, yeah. So let's get into this
No,
last one.
let's get this
Kyle,
last
do you have
one
another point
before
on
we
that?
end this. Kels, you have another point on that? Yeah. Actually, is about this Survivor Series. 7 years ago, Roman won his first world title. Remember when Seth, I think, tore his ACL. They had a tournament and Roman won. He beat the Ambrose. Now it's John Moxley in AEW. Then Vince came out to try to recruit him to be the next Seth Rollins. Then he said no. Then turns around into a broke kick. Davis catches in. Hit him with another broke kick, kicks out. Hit him with another broke kick. 1, 2, 3. WWE. Sheamus 5-15. Just said I took your WWE title. Now, 7 years later, um, they're leading their teams into war games.
Oh, that's a good stat. That's a really good stat. And that was Roman's first. That was the first time he won the title, and they only let him keep it for a hot minute, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, because he didn't win at Mania, and then I actually was no, okay, another. So we went to TLC that year in 2015. He didn't win. He wins the title next night on Raw.
You were
Oh,
there for
okay,
that too?
yeah.
I hate you.
We've been to a lot
You
over the
saw
years.
the my buddy Mario was there. You saw that crazy spot from Sin Cara.
Yeah,
To Uso. What was it called? The
I don't even remember. Sin Cara was.
Sale de Sol.
Yeah, I will say my scariest moment at the TD Garden, or I didn't actually know it was my scariest moment, was SummerSlam '06, was I was dipping at the time, and my brother
Nice.
really didn't like that I was dipping. I might have told this story before. So we were using the tea at the time, and maybe we'll use the tea tomorrow or Saturday or whatever it is. And my brother takes my tin, right, and he chucked it to the ground where the train goes.
Oh,
And I just jump down, grab it, and this woman thinks I'm committing suicide. Okay. She goes, "Oh my God, your life's worth it." I grab the tin, I jump up. They go, "You know, if you touched the third rail, you would have died." I go, "No, I did not know that." And I
how?
was like, because it's electric.
Oh,
So I had no idea. I didn't touch anything. I literally jumped down, which don't ever do this. I grabbed the tin and I was much more agile. I was only like 21. And I jumped back up. And this one lady thought I was literally committing suicide. And I was like, no, my brother threw my tin and I just wanted to get it. And they're like, do you understand what could have happened? I go, nope, I had no idea that could happen. So, word
damn.
to the
Well,
wise,
well,
don't
damn.
do that.
Thank goodness, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, very scary.
Jesus
L- I,
Christ.
learn lesson. I didn't know that. I truly didn't know that. So thank God I was lucky.
Well, thank God
Um,
you're here today, man. Shit.
Yeah, yeah, not smart. And I got to go to the show in Bucina, so it was great.
Yo, that
Um,
that was a good SummerSlam. That was a
very good
really good
SummerSlam.
show too. I remember that one.
We
Did they
had a
get?
lot of we had a lot of fun, and I don't care what anybody says. Edge was getting cheered more than Cena that night. Again, my demographic was always anti Cena because I came out of the Attitude Era and I went into my early 20s, and we were still stuck in that era. Do you
Wasn't
know what I
that
mean?
right? Wasn't that the official, biggest party of the summer slogan for
They
SummerSlam?
might have called it. I know for a fact at the commercial that they filmed, that's where Batista and Booker T got into that fight. And then they actually had to wrestle each other at the pay-per-view.
That was '06
That was '06. Yeah.
because they wrestled '07 too. Oh, that was
No.
Triple H.
Booker T
Not
faced
Triple
Triple
H.
H in
You're right.
'07.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Never mind. You're
Because
right. You're right, man.
they were doing the Return of the King of Kings, and Booker was
Yeah. Can we just talk about like the old stages too? But obviously we'll talk about that soon. I'm sorry. I'm going on a big rant. I haven't talked to
No,
you
no.
guys in forever.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
we'll do one more prediction here. Kendall want to know here. I want to know. We got the Bruising Brutes. We also got Drew McIntyre. We got Kevin Owens. Which Kevin Owens, man, what a year that he's had. Absolutely unbelievable. If you want to talk about, we talk about wins and losses not mattering. It didn't matter what he did with Stone Cold. We always knew that Kevin Owens was the guy to wrestle him, and everybody so embraced him again. And actually, they embraced him the night after WrestleMania. So, but then you got the Bloodline with the most entertaining act in wrestling right now, especially with everything they're doing with Sami Zayn. Like it's just, and I love this photo. Like, look at Sami Zayn's face. Like it, I don't think it gets any better. Like
I love it. I
whoever
love it.
came, whoever came up with the idea to put him with the Bloodline, like thank you because it's fantastic. And then even bring Soya into the mix too. Like this is just, it's just brilliant and it's so much fun. Um, Kendall, who's winning this match? Who's getting pinned and who's getting the pinfall?
Okay, so I want to talk about Kevin Owens real quick before we move on. Oh, I know a lot of fans are pissed because he re-signed at the beginning of this year, right? If I'm not mistaken, he re-signed at the beginning of this year. A lot of fans, including you, Justin, know this. Were like, I'm pissed.
I
Why
pissed.
did
I was upset. I was upset. I was upset. I'm not gonna lie. I was upset.
they were like, why did he resign with WWE? He's gonna get buried. He's gonna regret signing. Why he ain't go to AEW? And I said this way. I said, y'all, that's what wrestling fans jumped the gun. Like y'all don't know what's gonna happen with him. And when he made it in night one of WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin, I was kind of being petty, and I was like, you same fans that was saying why did he resign with WWE and he was gonna get buried. I said, now look, main event night one with Stone Cold Steve freaking Austin. I said, now look, but what is he gonna do after that? Look what he's doing after main event, another big four pay per view. But um, my little hot take on this match is that Sammy KO's gonna be in the corner and Sammy's gonna hit the Louva kick. Then he's gonna stop midway in his tracks And Jay's gonna be like, "What are you doing? Hit him! Hit him!" And Sammy was like, "No, no, no, I can't do it. I can't do it." And Jay was like, "Shut up and do it now, for I super kick your ass or your butt." And he was like, "No, I just can't do it." Then Jay super kicks him. Then KO hits him with a stunner. Then Jay turns around to a broke kick. One, two, three. Brawling Brutes and Brawling Brutes KO and Drew win.
No, no, I like that take. I think that'd be an interesting way to do it. Obviously, I hate to say it, there is definitely a reason that not just because of how over Kevin Owens is, but there's a reason that he's probably been thrown into this match, right? With the history between him and Sammy. So that's a very very strong possibility. Um, Justin, what are you thinking?
I'll leave my words. I was very upset when, Kevin Owens obviously resigned because he wasn't doing much at the time with what was given to him, earlier or later in 2021 and earlier in 2022. And then he wrestled Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin took a stunner from Kevin Owens in front of a. I always look at things in a bigger picture. I go, yo, Kevin Owens just hit Stone Cold Steve Austin with a stunner in front of 100,000 people in Dallas, Texas. That is insane. So kudos to Kevin Owens. I always loved Kevin Owens ever since I discovered him back in 2013. Well, Kevin Steen. Uh, he got signed. He's doing his thing. Big fan of him. But I'm very happy that he's back. I was actually in Hartford, Connecticut when he returned. I was there at the arena. That Watching that on TV doesn't do its justice because that place went nuts. That place went in huge pop for Kevin Owens. So that was very cool to see. And then you have the longevity of the story with Kevin, Sammy, their matches, their tag team run. Obviously we know they had prior matches back up in Ring of Honor, El Generico and Kevin Steen. So they know each other. They knew each other for years. So this match, that just all that makes this match even more special in that sense. So and obviously, again, what you said, Dan, whoever paired up with Sami Zayn with the Bloodline is a freaking genius because I'm loving it. I love every second of it. Sami Zayn is you want to talk about wholesome? He's wholesome. Like I love it with him and the Bloodline. But anyway, so sorry my tangent. I see the Bloodline winning. I see them getting the W.
Who gets the pinfall? Who gets pinned?
Oof. Uh, I don't know, man. It's you're probably gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Sammy. I'm gonna have Sammy pin KO.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
That'd be something, because he did promise that they will win and they'll get the W. And then obviously Jay got mad at him last week. He said, "Why are you going out there promising people promising this? Like, what are you doing?" So I could see Sami Zayn getting the pin.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm going Bloodline, just because I just think it's man. You know what they become?
The
It
goat.
is. We talk about this a lot and some other stuff. Cool heels.
Yes.
NWO are the cool heels. Um, we talk about this even in chaotic wrestling. There was a time where Christian Casanova, now Carmelo Hayes, was part of oh god,
Killanova Incorporation.
Yeah, Killanova Inc. Right,
Yep, yep.
and they became the cool heels of chaotic wrestling, where everybody was supposed to boo them, but they couldn't help but cheer.
Yes.
The bloodline now is. I'm not. No one quote me on this. I'm not saying they're the NWO because that's not what I'm saying.
I know what you're
They
saying. I
are
know what you
they
mean.
are the cool heels, just like the NWO was.
You can't help but cheer for them. You're not. You're.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna boo Roman Reigns. You're not gonna boo Sammy or Jay, Jimmy or Solo. Like you're gonna cheer for them.
No, so I have the bloodline going over, and my guess is Roman is gonna pin. probably Sheamus is what I would say. But I think what's going to happen in the match is the issues with Jay and Sammy are going to go down in that match.
Yeah,
Okay. They're going to have issues throughout that match. But I still think they come together and the bloodline wins. I think it'd be a mistake to not have the bloodline win just because of everything they've done. Until someone beats Roman, I, and I don't know when you do
they're
that.
winning. They're winning every single match. That's going to be they're booked in. They're not losing.
Yeah, and I
But
just
here's the
don't
thing
know.
about
Go ahead, Kendall.
Rome. Even though the bloodline, it will be an L. He doesn't have to get pinned.
Yeah, no.
So Roman can still look strong, even though taking the L.
My only fear is the fans might boo that. I think the fans might start booing the brawling brutes, and they're not going to boo KO. But I don't think.
Okay, so have KO hit Sammy with a or have KO hit Sammy with a the pop up power bomb, man. 1, 2, 3.
Or have him hit it with that, and then Roman comes out of nowhere and hits a Superman punch. I just don't think that people are gonna. I don't think people. And I could be wrong. I don't watch SmackDown every week. I don't feel like the Brawling Brutes are terribly over. Um,
So they're neutral. They're like up and down, back and forth.
like I think Kevin Owens is over, but
Oh, he's been over since he's
I th-
debuted.
I'm a Drew McIntyre fan. I know you're not, Justin, but
Uh, mhm,
he's
mhm.
lost incredible
Oh yeah, he's in the
momentum.
match. He's in the match.
Yeah, he's in the match too. And I'm a big and again,
Oh,
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of him, but he's lost
Kendall,
momentum.
you want my ticket?
I'll get.
Uh,
Johnny Park control him the whole night.
I
Let
don't
me call Bob Kraft. I'll send the send the Patriots plane if I could.
I don't want to see Drew McIntyre. I don't like him. This is me every time I see him.
Oh, see, I love Drew McIntyre, but the way they've used him over the last year or so has not been. I really, it bums me out because I thought Drew was on a really good run before the pandemic, and then he had to be world champion in front of a no audience,
Nobody.
which is unfortunate
I didn't
because
watch it. No, I watched it. I didn't care. I watched it, but I was like, okay.
yeah, no, I like him. I love a story like that. I always liked Drew McIntyre, but I will admit, like y- yeah, it just didn't work from his first run.
Um,
I don't know if that was all him, but I really like what
And
he does now.
I unfortunately don't think they're gonna do it. Gonna give him another title run. I just don't see it happening.
Probably not. I mean, he's not super young, but what,
He's not
Kendall, you gonna
super
say something?
over.
Yeah.
If they would have gave him the title, they would have did it at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, and I heard that they thought about it and then they decided no, this thing with Roman's just too hot, which is not wrong. It's very they're in a very tough spot where again they've made the bloodline the cool heels, and once you've done that, and once you've made the bad guys the actual cooler guys and the baby faces, you've kind of booked yourself into a tough spot.
You dug yourself in a deep hole. Yeah, you
You
can't dig
know,
yourself out of. Yeah.
so I say you keep running with that
Yep.
um,
All the
until.
way to next year sometime because obviously Roman is going to be leaving 2022 as champion. He's not losing that title at all.
Well, how strongly he's been set up. I'm like, there's nobody on the roster that can beat. I don't know anybody right now that I go, yeah, that's the guy, because there's nobody. And you get this feeling that the Brawling Brutes, McIntyre and Kevin Owens, they're just not on the same level as this other team.
Right.
So
Nevertheless, it's still going to be a fun match
oh, it's gonna be
to
the
see.
whole night's gonna be unbelievable. We're super excited about Survivor Series.
I can't wait
Again, in Boston, Massachusetts. Though WWE, you do owe us a SummerSlam for sure.
because
Um,
yeah, SummerSlam was supposed to be in Boston in 2020, and
yeah, we still haven't got.
I had my tickets for that, and I never got to go.
Yeah, we still haven't got paid back for that. It's in a lawsuit right now.
I did.
Yep, ours is
I
in a lawsuit.
I got paid. I got paid for it, so it's okay.
Not,
Did you?
you know, no, we did not get paid back. There's a whole lawsuit pending, not from us, but from other people.
Oh, I
However, we
was
got
gonna
our
say.
tickets.
I
Um,
mean, I got my money back. I got like $600 back. So,
oh, see, it was, I don't know, I think it was $110 that we each spent. I'll live.
oh no,
Would
dude.
I love that money back? Sure, I could,
Yeah, I don't think
but
it's like $600. I think it was like $320 that I spent on one ticket. That I was
oh,
like,
really?
I was like, I think it was five. It was actually 500 for SmackDown and SummerSlam. So I got like two deals.
Yeah, we were just going to SummerSlam, and I think we each paid 110, and but it's been hung up for some reason. I think we went through a third party vendor, and this is a whole nother show because we all know what happened with the Taylor Swift show and what's going on with ticket sales and how much of an issue that's actually becoming a problem. I would love to go see Blink 182. Okay, that's
Did
one of my all
you
time favorite.
did you see the resale prices for Taylor Swift's concert?
Yeah, something stupid.
$32,000. Someone is trying to sell their tickets for. That's a freaking car.
Well, this is the problem.
$32,000.
They
Who is
let
gonna spend
um
that?
they let Ticketmaster buy live whatever it was. So now you've created a monopoly, right? So you can only get tickets one place. So now people are buying the tickets and they're trying to sell them back. Um, it's I don't like what's going on there. I probably want like I really was excited when Blink 182 said they were coming back, right? And I really want to go to that concert, but I also don't really like going to concerts indoor. Like when I go to a concert, I want to be outside.
Fair
I do
enough.
want to see Blink 182 because it'd be the last time in my life that I ever get to see them. But I'm not going to go through this price gouging shit. It's uh,
It's like $600 for nosebleeds.
yeah, in the garden. I don't want to sit at the top. I've been to the top of the garden, and I don't know if I'd want to see live music that way.
Yeah.
You can't even like get up and move. So
You'll be like this. You'll be like
you're sitting there like you're watching a basketball game,
you're
and
just
that's
like
a concert's very different. You know,
yeah, I get it, man.
concerts. I want if I'm going to a concert, I want to be outside, and that's
Yeah,
how I feel about it.
absolutely.
But anyways, guys, we should wrap this up. Kendall, anything you want to promote? Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Factcast Podcast on YouTube, all streaming platforms, Spotify, all that good stuff, and on Twitch. I will be streaming video games soon. Madden and NCAA. You can follow me on Twitter at KBG903TV. Yeah. Also follow me on Rumble at Faction Cast Pod. Uh, Rumble is basically an uncensored version of YouTube where I can post wherever the f I want without YouTube trying to take me down. So whatever. Um, and also follow me on Facebook with my real name. Um, Let me know if y'all want to collab. I will. I am taking collabs. Uh, Shout out to all the four families. You know, Josh, Eli, and stuff. Remember, don't be a bully. Be a star. I'm out.
Speaking of that, I feel like I'm getting bullied by 69omega.com. I blocked them, and that somehow they made another account. So we're
They
gonna
love
work
you.
on that
They
here at
love
the
you.
Let Freedom Ring live stream. Yeah, they made another account. I'm not joking. Tired of being alone. Fill life with emotion. Okay. Anyways, we're not promoting them. Actually, no one. Well, let's take that down. Justin, how can people find you?
Nerds of Wrestling on Facebook. Obviously, for those of you who are fans, shout out to my 10 followers out there. No, I'm joking. Shout out to the people who do support me. I don't know why. I'm just a normal Joe. I try my best to promote as much wrestling as I can. I'm a big fan of wrestling. Obviously, you guys know that. Nerds of Wrestling. You can find me on Facebook. I'm not gonna give you all my other platforms because I have way too much stuff to promote, and they made another account, which is crazy. Uh,
This is unreal.
I think it's just a hacker. I think it's just it's fake. But
They're back.
I am doing podcasting right now. What's Up Wrestler season 3 is officially in the works. I'm taking my time this season, so for those of you who are fans and those of you who are wondering who am I gonna interview next, you just have to wait and see. Again, it's a long process. I'm not rushing season 3. I'm taking my time on this one. So that's it. I mean, season 3, What's Up Wrestler, is gonna continue for the next year. I promise you, it is not gonna be rushed. So follow me on Nerds of Wrestling on Facebook. If you want my other platforms, hit me up. If you have me on Instagram, you know where to find me. Twitter, everything else. Other than that, Nerds of Wrestling is where you can find me.
Shout out to Jay and the baddies. Jay, I love you, girl. Kira, love you. Layla,
Well,
Red Velvet.
I
I
do have a
do
lot.
have a
I
lot.
do have a lot to say after we get off the air, though. So, but yeah, thank you guys. The Nerds of Wrestling. Check me out.
well, I want so Let Freedom Ring. We were off in the studio this week, just due to it's being Thanksgiving. We usually film on Thursdays, so be on the lookout for a show next week in studio. But we want everybody to have have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and everybody that supports all these
You too,
shows.
Dan. You
Yeah,
too.
we appreciate it. 69mega.com. I can't believe I shouldn't even be saying this on there because this is the weirdest hack that's ever happened. They've made multiple accounts as we've been on this. Don't go to that website. Yeah,
I
don't
don't know
do it.
what you want to say.
I don't know
I
even know
don't
why I
know.
even
Okay,
shared
well,
that.
since Thanksgiving's tomorrow, I'm gonna get this out the way. I'm
But
thankful. Thankful for you, Dan. You're my
I appreciate
mentor.
it.
I mean that when I say that every morning. You're my mentor. You're my OG. You keep me pushing, even though some days I do feel like shit. I can't say shit. So even though some mornings, some days I feel like shit, you inspire me. You're my mentor. And like I said, when I get that Johnny Burke money, you're coming out to see me. You're my brother. You're like a father figure to me. Thank you, OG. I love you.
Oh,
No problem. Love you too,
Love you
Kendall.
too, Kendall. I
I
appreciate
appreciate you
it.
both coming on tonight. And everybody out there, keep your heads up. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And until next time, let freedom ring.
peace out, y'all.